Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Current Issues. I am your host, Hesham Tillawi. Tonight we're going to have Cindy Sheehan with us. She is of course, all of you know who Cindy Sheehan is. She actually was with us probably 2 or 3 years ago when before she went to Crawford and set up camp. She is the mother of Casey Sheehan, who died on April 4th, 2004. She will be with us tonight. She's running for Congress. Of course, everyone knows her as the anti-war mother. Even though she said she was going to call it quit, but she continued, and she's continuing with full force. We're going to speak with her later on and see exactly what is she up to and what can she do. And what does it matter? By the way, she is running against Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, so she does have a tough road ahead of her. And also, she is running as an independent, even though in the beginning she was a Democrat. Some Democrats have actually helped her in the beginning, but it looks like they are not helping her with running against Nancy Pelosi. Before we go there, last week, something happened, and I'm going to show you a picture of Barack Obama. We showed you this picture before when he went to Jerusalem and visited the wall. Something happened, and at random, you are looking at a picture. Let me explain to you. We did not doctor up this picture. This picture was created randomly by an editing program that we use to divide the hour-long program that we do so we can put it up on YouTube and Google. On Google, we put the full hour. On YouTube, you can only put 10 minutes. We're working on getting a director's account with YouTube. But what you're looking at here, the possibility, ladies and gentlemen, of this happening again is probably in the billions, because what this program does, it takes segments of the program at various lengths, and at random it takes one frame out of each segment. That is, one segment could be 5 minutes, the other one could be 20 seconds, the third one could be 2 minutes. So there is really no set rules of how many segments it divides the hour to, and then it goes through that segment and it picks one frame. And the possibility of picking up this frame is like one in billions. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that. So why this is, you do know that I am obsessed with our president and our candidates actually going to Jerusalem and be blessed by this wall. I don't have any problem with the Jewish religion, but to see Christians and especially our leaders at this wall, I'm not against anyone praying to anyone or anything, but I think this one tells it all because it tells you why and how important it is for our leaders to go to Jerusalem and be blessed by this wall. And actually, we put this on our website and we sent it through emails, and we told people to make their own remarks on it and to whatever comes to your mind. And the best one here, as you know, in the Jewish faith, Hashem is God, and actually the one who came up with this is my webmaster, which is Obama calls on Hashem but gets Hesham. Well, you go figure. Anyhow, on a serious note, let's get back to our program for tonight. We will have, in a couple of minutes, we're going to have Cindy Sheehan. She is running for Congress, trying to unseat Nancy Pelosi, who is the Speaker of the House, from California. She is running. She's in San Francisco, in that district there. And she is her campaign, as I understand, that is picking up a lot of steam. Now, Cindy Sheehan, if you don't know who she is, I'm sure we don't want to go through and tell you who Cindy Sheehan is, because I think she got quite a bit of coverage when she set up camp in front of the President's Ranch in Crawford, Texas. The media then gave her a lot of attention, but now the media is not really giving her a lot of attention. Otherwise, you would hear about her. You know, every once in a while you see her on some of these talk shows for a couple of minutes or whatever. But she does deserve to be heard. I think she had sacrificed a lot. It's not just that she lost her son. She also lost a lot of money, a lot of, you know, her life was turned upside down. Her family life was turned upside down because actually her own family were split on what she is doing, and probably the country was at one time split to what she's doing, that she was capitalizing on the death of her son. I guess we really can't blame her for doing what she is doing. She believes that her son died in vain, and she wrote that. She thinks that her son died for nothing. Her son died because of the lies that the President Bush, and his cronies have, because of their lies and because they allowed people who took us to war in Iraq or against Iraq. So we are waiting to hear the signal or let us know that she is with us. And you're welcome to call us. Of course, the phone number is going to be on the screen in a couple of seconds. And you are welcome to call us, let us know what you think, and you can actually ask Cindy whatever questions you want to ask her. They are planning on, you know, Dennis Kucinich is carrying the torch on impeaching. We're going to ask Cindy about the impeachment of George Bush. How is it going? Because she is one of the first people who was involved in this process of impeaching George Bush. We all know that there's only a few months left for George Bush. So speaking of impeachment, to some of you probably is silly or does not make any sense. But it really does make a lot of sense, because in these impeachment hearings, if they ever take place, and I think you probably do need to get involved in this, and because without your involvement, as Nancy Pelosi said, that impeachment is off the table, and the Democrats will not bring impeachment and will not help in impeaching this president. Now, we're not after, personally, I'm not after, and I don't think that the impeachment hearings will be finished before his term. But I really think during these hearings we will learn a lot about 9/11. We will learn a lot about what happened in Iraq and what is happening in Iraq and Afghanistan, and where this country is going. How does the future look in you know, for us in the coming years? As you know, we are probably talking about doing something in Iran, which I keep saying there's no way on earth that we will be that stupid to actually do something in Iran. I know we can, the United States Army can defeat Iran, but it will be at an extremely high cost, and this is what we have. Let me know what we are. We have a problem in getting hold of Cindy. Let me know. So this is what is going on. Iran, we are tightening the screws on Iran. We're talking about doing different projects, embargoes, and different programs to put the screws and tighten it on Iran. And well, I really think it's more just a smoke screen to actually hide what is going on in Afghanistan and in Iraq. As you know, we have lost 500 people in Afghanistan and more than 4,000 in Iraq, and we killed many Iraqis. For what? Well, we're going to find out as soon as we get Cindy on what we are fighting in Iraq for and why we killed these people. Okay, no one is telling me anything, guys. Can you just let me know what's happening? The phone is not answering, so I'll know exactly what I need to move on if I can get a signal from the control room. Actually, Cindy Sheehan just wrote an article yesterday, and in this article I'm going to ask her about it. she said that we should all walk off of our jobs and refuse to work and refuse to be cogs in the wheels of psychotic consumerism until our troops, military contractors, and permanent bases are removed from Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, I'm going to ask her about this because, I mean, this is very serious when you are asking people to walk off their jobs. That's very much putting the country, and they're still trying. Okay. You may try the other number and see what's going on. Why? Because we talked to them about an hour ago. Try the other phone number and see what the problem is. As you know, I mean, she is extremely busy, but they confirmed that she will be on at this time, and so we're having problems. Probably she's on another interview or something. Maybe the interview went a little longer. I don't know, but we're going to keep trying until we get Cindy Sheehan on the line. And so this is basically while we are waiting, we can probably see and talk about what is going on now. Iraq's still in a big mess, even though if you listen to Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh, they'll tell you, oh, we are winning in Iraq. I think we are far from winning in Iraq, and I don't think we will ever win in Iraq. And if we are, okay, let me see what's going on. What is that? Uh-huh. She's busy, keep trying. You talked to her campaign manager? And did you tell her we are waiting on her? Crisis came up? Emergency came up? So she said keep trying to call her number? Well, it could be short. I mean, that's fine. I just don't appreciate because we did confirm, and I don't know what crisis came up. But, you know, again, we are on Cindy's side. This is a live show, and we hope that we will be able, I guess, just keep trying to reach her. If we don't reach her, I don't know. You know, it's, as a matter of fact, come to think about it, we did have a confirmation, I think, about a year ago from Cindy that she will be on, and the same sort of things happen. I guess she is a very busy woman. We do understand that a lot of interviews, and she's trying to unseat probably the most popular Democrat in history, because this is the first woman, Nancy Pelosi, is the first woman to actually be the Speaker of the House in the United States. I guess that is the first step to having a woman president. Of course, you know, if you hear Rush Limbaugh out there, and if anyone wants to call and comment on this, you're more than welcome. While we are waiting for Cindy Sheehan, we will continue try to get her on the phone. Some people saying that Hillary Clinton is not out of the game yet. I don't know. That's kind of people are dreaming. If they, I don't know. Maybe they have something that they can pull out of their sleeves, I guess. So I don't know. But again, we are still waiting for Cindy Sheehan. As I understand that her campaign manager said that something came up, just keep trying to call her. She is not answering her phone, but her campaign manager answered her phone. She's on. Great. Cindy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Hesham. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Well, you know, I've been better.
You've been better.
I have a family emergency, so I can't stay on the phone very long.
Okay, well, we
we're also like in a 24-hour push to get valid signatures to get me on the ballot here in San Francisco. So we have dozens of people out getting signatures and everything. It's going to be an all-nighter.
I understand. I won't keep you long then, but I really appreciate.
Well, you know, we had last week. We turned in 40% more signatures than we needed to be on the ballot, and they invalidated over 5,000 of our signatures. So we've been working really hard all week to get on the ballot, and that wasn't something that we had anticipated when I agreed to be on your show again. So I apologize, but it's a campaign, and we just have to be really flexible.
Okay, very good. We won't keep you long then. Now, tell me, you are trying to unseat Nancy Pelosi, and basically people know you as the anti-war mom, and unseating Nancy Pelosi is not an easy job, and then you are running as an independent, even though in the beginning of your activities, the Democrats kind of stepped in. I don't know, maybe you can correct my information, but I understand the Democrats stepped in and were helping you in that. Are the Democrats, or is the Democratic Party, is it walking away from you?
Well, I don't think the Democrats ever helped me. I think that the movement, the anti-war movement that was energized after August of '05 when I camped out in front of George Bush's ranch, a grassroots movement grew around that, and I think the Democrats used the energy of that movement, promising us to end the occupation of Iraq and hold George Bush and Dick Cheney accountable. And they have failed to do that, and they betrayed their grassroots. And I have been a lifelong Democrat. I left the party last year when Nancy Pelosi and her Congress funded, I think it was an $87 billion appropriation for the occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan. And so I left the party, and when Nancy Pelosi failed to put impeachment back on the table to impeach George Bush and Dick Cheney, that's when I decided to run against her. And of course the Democrats, since I'm running as an independent, the Democratic Party per se has, they won't have anything to do with me, or the Democrats won't endorse me or even really be around me. But there's a lot of great Democrats around the country who adhere, and in San Francisco, who adhere to true democratic values that do support me on an individual basis.
So let me ask you something, Cindy. What is the platform that you are running on to unseat Nancy Pelosi? Is it just the war, or are you running on different ideas that you have for the country?
Well, I would invite everybody, and I hope that I can be on your show again really soon so we can have an in-depth discussion. But, I'm hoping that everybody will go to my website, cindyforcongress.org, cindyforcongress.org. Our platform is getting put up on the website. Now there's quite an extensive labor platform piece. And we're running for, of course, ending the occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan, bringing our troops home, closing the permanent bases there, cutting back the scope and the scale of the military-industrial complex here in America, closing many other of our bases around the world to help people here at home. We need universal single-payer health care. We need education that is, if not free, very inexpensive and easily accessible for everybody, not just the people like Nancy Pelosi's of the world and the Bushes who can afford to send their children to elite four-year universities.
Okay.
We need to clean up the environment. We need to end our dependence on fossil fuels and have some good alternatives. And, we need healthy communities here in America. We need our money to stay here in America to get, jobs. We need to bring our jobs back that have been offshored. So there's just so many issues that we have to work on. And being in San Francisco, there's a horrible homeless situation. We have homeless vets come into our office every day. They can't access the help that they need. And there's just a myriad of issues that we have to work on. But the first thing is, ending the occupations we have now and cutting back the military-industrial complex so we actually have money to work on the other issues.
Okay. Let me ask you very quick. A couple of days ago, you wrote an article, and in that article you're saying we should all walk off our jobs. Is that a solution that you really think it would work?
I think a general strike and or a targeted boycott of companies that profit off of war or our mainstream media, I think that that is the only thing that these people are going to listen to. Because you know that whenever there's a crisis in the country, what does George Bush tell us? He tells us to go shopping. And, that's not a solution to anything. A solution now is to use our resources wisely. And if we just had 10% of the people in this country willing to do a general strike, that would have a profound effect.
How would pay their rent and feed their children during that time?
Well, we need to. I'm not suggesting that people get kicked out of their homes or suggesting that people stop feeding their children, but I'm suggesting that we need, at this moment, we need to do drastic measures to call attention to the fact that there are homeless people already here in this country. There are millions of children that go to bed hungry, if they even have a bed, in this country. There's 50 million people without health care in this country right now. And there's something that everybody can cut back on to make sacrifices for our children and our grandchildren, so there will be a world that we can, a healthy world that we can leave to our children and grandchildren.
Okay. I will bring you back for an in-depth interview. Can you take a couple of quick calls very quick?
Probably just one call, and then I'm going to have to go because the person that's having an emergency is trying to get through to my phone. So maybe one call.
Okay. Actually, I have a lot of people waiting, but let's go.
I promise I'll come back.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take Mark. Mark.
Yes. Congratulations on a fine show tonight.
Thank you.
First of all, my condolences to Ms. Sheehan for her loss, because as much as we may talk about the politics of this whole thing, the fact of the matter is that a mother lost her son. And so that's something I think that we should never lose sight of. Of the 4,000 troops that we've lost in this war, I think only 100 of them have been women. So that leaves 3,900 of them who have been men. And accounting, of course, for some of these soldiers whose mothers probably were not alive to lose their sons, nevertheless, there is a considerable number of mothers in America who should be outraged at what has taken place. And so what I would like to say or ask Ms. Sheehan, in addition to thanking her and congratulating her for the excellent work that she is doing, is what has the reaction been on the part of other women, and in particularly other mothers who have lost sons to this war? And I will listen to her answer and congratulate and thank her again for her brave work.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, Mark, thank you so much. I miss my son every day. He's never far away from my mind. I just really think that it's such a tragedy that so many people have had to unnecessarily bury loved ones. But I don't want to ever forget, and I never forget about the millions of people in Iraq and Afghanistan who have either lost close loved ones or have had to move from their homes, had to flee their homes as refugees, or have had their homes destroyed, their communities destroyed, and their ways of life have been taken away from them. And I'm very conscious of that. And I do have an organization called Star Families for Peace, where there are many mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles who feel the same way I do, that our children were killed for lies and for the deceptions of this government, for greed and for so many reasons that are not noble. 3 years ago this month, I was sitting in front of George Bush's ranch saying, what noble cause did you kill my son for? And there is nothing noble about what's going on. So there are many, many parents in this country who feel the same way I do. But then there are many parents who still think that this war, they think they have to believe that this war was just and that their child died for a just reason. And it's to help them get through the day, because I know how hard it is to get through the day. And no matter what, whether, you know, our children were put in this situation for lies or whether it was for a noble cause, at the end of the day, we still have buried our children, and that's, you know, very painful no matter what the reason is. And so whenever I come across a parent whose child has died and they still support the war and support George Bush, we still have that common ground, and there has never been any point where I've had any, like, hostile interaction with a mother like that. You know, with that, Hesham, I'm going to have to go. And
okay. Now, how he asked you how has the reaction from women or mothers who lost their children to your candidacy?
Well, in San Francisco, you know, San Francisco is a very liberal kind of progressive city, and fortunately for San Francisco, there hasn't been that many people who have lost their children. But for the people, you know, my friends and colleagues who aren't in the city, they support my candidacy 100%. And they're really pulling for me because they know that if we work for peace and if we do this in the name of our children, then we'll make their deaths count for something that is noble and not so ignoble like what has happened to us. So I have a lot of support from all over the country, military families, Gold Star families, military, people who are in the military, people who are out of the military, retired. There's a lot of support.
Very good. Cindy, I want to thank you for taking time to be with us, and go take care.
And I want to thank you for being so understanding.
Sure, sure. Go take care of your family. They come first.
Get on the ballot, and I'll be on again soon. Okay?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, and good night. Thanks. Okay, well, we appreciate that from Cindy Sheehan, and I promise all the people that are holding that we will definitely, next time when we do have Cindy, and we will have her soon, very soon, before probably the end of the month, we will work on that. It's just it happened that she had a family emergency. So we will let you know when we're going to have her next, because there are a lot of people who are waiting to talk to Cindy and ask her questions. And we promise them that we will have another audience, or they will have another audience with Cindy at another time. Unfortunately, you know, we kind of lost faith that we will even have her tonight. So again, we apologize for people who are holding on the lines. You know, Cindy Sheehan had to go due to a family emergency, and you know, she could have probably not answer or told her campaign manager to say, I'm sorry, I have a family emergency, but she did take the time to come and speak with us. Mark, you still on the phone?
Yes, I am indeed.
Oh, great. Well, I mean, what do you think of Nancy's, you know, I want to go ahead and we were showing some footage on what's going on in Iraq, but while we're showing those footage, let's go ahead and what do you think Nancy's, not Nancy, I mean, Nancy's chances are probably very high because she's actually, you know, doing what the powers that be want her to do, which is, you know, the impeachment is off the table, etc., etc. But what do you think Cindy's chances of unseating Nancy Pelosi?
Well, I think it depends on what happens with Iran. Depending on whether or not this war with Iran does begin before the elections, as some are saying that it will. And of course, what the reaction on the part of the American people will be towards that. I mean, if they, and we all know who we're talking about here when we say the word they, if they pull a really big one, something bigger than September 11th, or even a sinking of one of our ships in the Persian Gulf that results in a massive loss of life, the American people, I think that they would probably forget for the moment about how much they oppose this war, and they will be basically picking up where they left off the week of September 11th, where they're saying, hunt them down and kill them. So I think it really, that is the one of the big questions as to whether Cindy has a good shot at this seat is what happens with regards to Iran. Other than that, I mean, let's face it. I mean, we have to be realistic here. Nancy Pelosi has a lot of money behind her. She has the right kind of power support behind her, meaning groups like AIPAC and the other Israeli groups. So, you know, it's, you know, I mean, yes, we have the story of David versus Goliath, and David came out on top, but how many other times do we hear things like that happening in real life? So I think we have to be practical here, but at the same time, I think it still does the body politic good to have people like Cindy Sheehan or Ron Paul or anybody else out there, even those who may not stand a chance or a good chance of winning. It's still good to show that there's still a voice out there and that there are still real Americans who oppose these awful atrocities.
Okay. Now, what do you think of Cindy's solution that we all walk? I mean, I really think I tend to agree with her that unless a drastic action by the people in the United States, nothing will take place. So, you know, people probably have to think about either going to war and their children being killed in that war, or actually go on strike. Don't go to work for a week and see how fast these politicians will react. I'm really, you know, when I first read that, I'm thinking, you know, this is crazy. You know, how are they going to pay their rent? How are they going to feed their children? But I'm really thinking that without real sacrifice on the part of the people, that we're not going to be able to stop this nonsense.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Hesham. I mean, look, you accuse me, justly so, of being too much of an optimist sometimes. But in this juncture, I have to agree with her, and I have to agree with you. There isn't going to be much that's going to cause the average American who really doesn't care anything about politics to get up and actually do something substantive to take back his country, his or her country. I don't think that, I mean, we're just not the same people that we were in 1776. You know, we're not the same people that we were in 1876. We're just not the same people. We've been corrupted with luxury and with laziness and all of these other things. So I tend to agree with you. I don't see much hope in any kind of bloodless revolution. Let's put it that way.
Well, I don't know. I'm beginning to think if we, but you know what? It takes a lot of money, a lot of publicity for people to actually get into this kind of movement. Anyhow, Mark, I appreciate your call and appreciate your insights on things as usual.
Anytime.
Thanks.
See ya.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to call. I guess we can throw this question at you. Will, number one, ending the war in Iraq, do we want to do it now, or we can't do it now? Will walking off our jobs, will it do it, or go on a strike? I don't know. Maybe, but I really think without serious action from the people, and any serious action from the people, it will require great sacrifice by the people, because we are talking about huge establishment out there that the people have to defeat. And the establishment I'm talking about is the hidden establishment that you don't see, that is to their benefit to keep on with this nonsense war. Anyhow, guess let's go to the lines and see what people are thinking out there. Liberty?
Yeah, good evening, Dr.
Good evening.
Tillawi.
How are you?
I got a heavy heart this week, more so than usual. Unfortunately, Tuesday, my son-in-law was redeployed. He's sergeant in the Marine Corps, and his 6-year contract ends before the year's up. However, he and 30 of his subordinates were set sail on their air carrier along with their fleet, and he opted not to re-up and resisted the $60,000 to continue in
now,
that career.
Let me ask you this: how has he been there? You said redeployed, so he was deployed before to Iraq?
Actually, in 2006, when Israel bombarded the nation of Cedar, Lebanon, simultaneously, as if there was a coincidence, they were doing military joint task exercises with
of course.
Jordan. However, in the still of the night, they did go in and evacuate all the embassy and their family members out of Lebanon.
Okay, I understand.
Out of Beirut, you understand?
Yeah, I understand. Without getting deeper into that and get somebody in trouble.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
Now,
the heavy-heartedness is he's missing his son's 3rd birthday next week. His wife's birthday the week after.
You see, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Barbaric.
You know, the whole country, people think that the only people who are being affected by this war are the guys on the front lines. No, front lines are all over the United States, because his wife would have to do on her own, be the father and the mother. And many families are going through this. Many families are going through this. You know, we will pray for him, but as you know, a lot of families will not see their loved ones again, and a lot of families got their loved ones back, but something is missing there, and we don't want to get into too much tragedy here.
Well,
but I think this nonsense war is affecting the lives of not just the 300,000 Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan, but actually the 300 million in the United States.
Yes, and I want to share with you that I admire the love and the deep love and just that father-son with you little yellow belt is heartwarming.
Thank you.
So heartwarming. Now, in regards to Cindy Sheehan, no one could know until you walk in her shoes. And
Exactly.
I supported her when she was in Crawford, made a trip to Crawford. And I myself am a registered independent over 10 years ago. Okay. I saw the writing on the wall. There's no difference. If you excuse my French, come August 14th, First Lady, her motorcades go travel to City Club, $1,000. Of course, you got to go through Secret Service to have a pig in the blanket to be in the same ballroom, and $2,500, and it's PAC money, you know, for Bustani and Kennedy. $2,500 picture taken with her.
You know what I
And for us to protest, this is how the law reads. We cannot be more than 2 people spaced within 100 yards of one another under the Department of Homeland Tyranny.
Say that
So how can you protest?
Say that one more time.
In order for us to protest,
Okay. To protest where?
From College Saloon to City Club, First Lady Laura Bush, her motorcade, we cannot be more than 2 within 100 yards apart after 9/11.
Who said that?
That is the federal law, Department of Homeland Security.
I was not aware of that.
Although we pay for the sidewalks, although we paid our taxes go.
So 200, did you say 200 yards away?
100. But 2 people per group is the maximum.
And they have to have 100 yards between each other?
Yes.
So basically you can probably only have 2 or 3 people.
Therefore, the right to assemble and protest, Bill of Rights. Whoop.
Oh yeah, that's that's the right
nose and wipe behind you and throw it away.
The right to assemble, huh?
Uh-huh.
And the right to free expression, the right to petition your government.
Uh-huh. Although our taxes go and pay for these places.
You know, I'm wondering if some of the city councilmen are listening to us, or maybe they will see the rerun, and maybe the city of Lafayette would want to say, you know what? Well, but you know what? Remember, we are an independent state.
Yeah.
See, people forget that.
But you got to remember who's going to be riding with her, too.
I understand that.
Jindal the jokester.
Well, I understand that, but you know what? We, the people, See, we keep going back to that piece of paper, we the people. That's how it's supposed to work. It's not supposed to work, Jindal, to decide what goes on the Constitution and how to interpret the Constitution. And it's not the federal government. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, I really think the number one people or entity that has jurisdiction over that is the City Council of Lafayette, or as we call it here, the City Parish Council. And I really think they should be, but of course, you know, who's there to actually stand up and say, whoa, wait a minute, I represent the people, and this is wrong.
Well, we tried to do it in 2004,
you know what?
When Dick Cheney came.
At least, I know they're not going to be able to do it.
We were informed and we were threatened to be arrested.
Yeah, but at least I think one or two of them should just do it for the heck of it. Nothing is going to happen.
There'll be a few. There'll be a few.
No, I'm talking about the people on the council, on the city council.
Well, I encourage it.
You know, of course, you know what? In many,
I encourage everyone to Long Collie Saloon Road.
Believe it or not. Now, when is this? When is this going to take place?
August 14th, Friday.
August 14th, Friday.
Which happens to be my grandson's 3rd birthday.
Well, actually, the following day will be my daughter's birthday.
Oh, that's my birthday. You full of Leos.
Oh yeah, mine is 3 days later. So now you know.
God bless you.
Now you know
what. My father's birthday. We all protect our cubs, don't we?
Here we go. Here we go. But you know what? I'm really, you know, in many cities, by the way, and many states, but many cities, even though their resolutions are not really binding on the federal government or even on the state governments, but many cities have taken a stand against this war and against the nonsense that is going on. At least if it's symbolic, just symbolic, to tell the people that, look, we're not sheep like the others, we are standing up, and if we can't get a resolution where it will pass, at least we should have few councilmen to stand up and say no to this nonsense war. And now let me ask you this. Now, Cindy Sheehan, she wrote an article yesterday, and she did say in it that in order for us to actually accomplish what we need to accomplish, we should all walk off our jobs until our military comes back, until the bases in Iraq are emptied, and until these contractors leave Iraq. Even though when you first read it...
Although it's not feasible, but we do have Labor Day weekend. Extended Labor Day holiday.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? I'm really thinking that she's given us an idea. You know, if this is not what everybody wants to do, but what she's actually saying, even though as drastic as this might sound, you know, the more I thought about it, I thought, oh, Cindy's silly. She's crazy if she thinks this is going to work. But I'm really thinking that the only way it will work is something like this, something where the people can step in and say, look, we can't do it at the ballot box because you are shoving down our throats, those people in Washington, and you are doing whatever your thing is, you know.
But you do know the largest movement is to the independent party at this point in time.
Sure, and it is a movement, and it's going to take time before, believe me, the people will triumph at the end. It never failed any society in history, any empire in history. People who want freedom will always answer yes. But it's going to have to take the people to ask for that freedom. As long as people are not asking for freedom, freedom will not...
Freedom's not free.
It's not free, and it's not going to be coming knocking on your doors. You've got to go seek freedom before you are free. And I really think that without something drastic from the people, we will not be free again. Now, you know, I'm really thinking of like for instance, Bustani, to have...
Oh, he's in the motorcade too.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's going. You know, it's probably fundraising for him. You know, he's not really a bad guy, but I do question the strings that are attached to him, because to me, you know, he's a doctor. He's a local doctor.
He's a couple numbers behind Junior.
But you know what? I understand that. But you know what? What I'm thinking is, okay, there comes a surgeon, a heart surgeon, who actually ran on I'm not a politician, I'm a doctor. But when I
emulating Bill Feist first,
right.
fist,
but you know what? But you know what? When I saw Dick Cheney made 2 trips, remember when Bustani first ran?
Yep.
Dick Cheney made 2 trips. Now, how do you get a vice president to make 2 trips to help you in an election, and you're running on, I'm a doctor, I'm not a politician? That's going to be extremely hard to actually camouflage. But, you know, I think he's not a bad guy, but he is voting according to the strings that are attached
with the party.
to him. Yes, definitely. Thanks, Liberty. Appreciate it.
Hey, I've got a real question
Sure.
for you, and I have searched high and low.
A real question? You mean all your questions were not real before?
This is a very deep deep. I have searched for years. Yes, all of them have been real. I have not been able to get a hard count through Red Crescent, through the UN, of the lives that have been lost, the innocent lives in Iraq.
Okay.
Do you know?
Yes. As a matter of fact, on my radio program a month ago, I did mention the figure that it's over 1 million, and I had somebody question me. Now, those figures came from research that took place in Iraq by 2 credible universities, and we did put if you go on my website, www.currentissues.tv, you will see right there on the front, we have put it there permanently for everyone to see it, and it changes automatically as people die in Iraq. It changes right now. It's 1,251,000 people.
And that's deaths?
That's deaths.
Include the names and disabilities?
No, that's just deaths. That's just deaths. And that is, you know, people might think, whoa, there's no way. Yes, there is a way if you really know what was taking place in Iraq. And we did show a few clips, footage of exactly what was going on there. There are millions, probably, of these footage on the internet for people to go and see exactly how people were dying in Iraq. Thanks, Liberty. I'm going to have to take another call.
Peace be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right. Thank you. Vic on 2. Vic, welcome to the program.
Hello, Hesham.
Hi.
I'm sorry that Slee couldn't stay with you much longer.
I know. She had a family emergency, but I really appreciate her even taking the time for that 10-15 minutes.
She'll come back,
It means
I
a lot. Oh, she will. She will. We'll bring her back. Cindy is a friend of mine, and we will bring her back.
I met her in Dallas also. I just want to say that her suggestion of taking time off from work and, just not doing anything for a day is a bit unrealistic. My wife and I went to get gasoline tonight, and while we're pumping gasoline, a man comes up, and he said he had to get back to Lake Charles, and he needed money for gas. Now, if it was true or not, I don't know. But there's so many people right on the edge now, and you can't expect him to take off from work.
Yeah.
It's naive. I just want to say something about freedoms, though.
But let me hold on to that thought, and let's just tackle this. It does sound naive, but I think what she is saying, unless you, the people, are willing to take drastic measures, nothing will change. Now, when we think about it, it is naive to walk off work. But you know what? I think if there is a movement to do that for 3 days, I think the country will shut down. It will let people in Washington know that our people are serious. And I think that's what she is after. It is naive to think, well, if we go on a strike for a couple of months or so, we're going to lose our homes and we can't feed our children. Yes, but you know what? Without serious sacrifice, we are in deep trouble, Vic. We are in deep trouble. People don't realize that the dollar, what is happening to the dollar, is part of this whole thing. We cannot separate what is happening to the dollar and the gas and your mortgages, etc., to what is happening in Iraq. It is connected. Everything is connected to what's happening in this country. So it is going to take what actually Cindy Sheehan, not necessarily exactly that, but I think what she's getting at is without drastic and serious measures by the people, nothing will happen. Go ahead. What about freedom?
Wait, I just want to say, if we had 3 days, just 3 days of media attention to the bodies being brought home, there would be a mass revolt in this country.
I agree with you. It's not going to happen because the media is part of that same formula. You see, the media until now, even though some politicians came out and switched sides, the media still on the same side. Because if the media starts showing exactly what is happening there in Iraq, how many people are we losing, what is happening, you know, the media needs to take a critical look at its own coverage of what's going on. The media needs to take a critical look at what is happening to the country because of the war, and it's not doing it.
That's true.
It is not doing it. The media that most people listen to, it's still the same people who helped George Bush go to war against an innocent country. An innocent country. Now, maybe they were guilty, but innocent as far as we are concerned, that country did not mean us harm. That country did not mean the world harm. That country was not a threat to the world, and I think we have accomplished that, and we know that. We knew it. I mean, Vic, you have been following this program from the beginning. We were saying this from the beginning when George Bush went to war. As a matter of fact, it was because of George Bush and because of the war that he started, we started this program, and we are continuing with it. We are continuing with it until this country is liberated. And this country will be liberated.
Across from that federal building from about the same time you were pointing out the errors of this war.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to talk about freedom for a moment.
Sure.
There's two kinds of freedoms. There's the substantial freedom and the procedural freedom. You know, the procedural freedom is the freedom to go where you want, to say what you want, to go to church, worship the way you want, say anything you want. And this country allows all these procedural freedoms to a certain extent, but the substantial freedom to be free from hunger, to be free from homelessness, to be free enough to go to a hospital, those real substantial freedoms are not guaranteed for this country. And the biggest procedural freedom in this country is the freedom to make as much money as possible in the few decades that we are here. And that's what we're trapped right now in, making as much money as possible.
Well,
and this war is not cutting into that freedom yet. I mean, I was a child at the time of the Second World War, and there was gas rationing at that time, so we had daily reminders of the fact that we were at war.
Yeah. Vic,
now,
we're running out of...
$5 a gallon, and people all over the country are complaining, moaning and groaning about that. But when I went to Hong Kong in 1970, it was $5 a gallon there.
Yeah.
It's eventually going to go up to $10 here, the way we're going
but the
now.
problem, Vic...
but we're not making a connection between the price of gas and the way we're squandering.
Yeah, Vic, we're running out of time. I'm going to have to let you go.
Okay.
Appreciate
I just want to thank you. And get it back on. I hope you get it back on the program.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think the freedom that we're asking now is to be free, not to go and kill or be killed. That's the only freedom we need. But as long as we are getting our views from the likes of Sean Hannity, from the likes of Rush Limbaugh, and from the likes of Bill O'Reilly, and others, you know who they are, and Fox and CNN and all these media that was there and helped George Bush lie to you and cover his lies, I really think as long as you are getting your information from these people who are lying to you every day, nothing's going to happen. So you've got to think about what is happening. You've got to think about what's happening to you, to your pocket, to your future, to the future of your children, and to what we are doing in the world. And once you start thinking about it, the whole thing is just going to be very clear. Use the internet. The internet is extremely important. There are many views out there, and when you read many views, become educated. When you are an educated person, you will be able to look right through that TV and see exactly what they are trying to program you with. Don't stay too much watching that TV because they know they can get you through that TV and program you through that TV, and they are doing a darn good job of it. No, get that off, shut that off, go to, if you want to see your local news, that's fine, but spend more time on the internet reading articles, seeing videos on YouTube, etc., etc. Have many different views so you become an educated person, and you know exactly what you need to do, and actually have an educated decision of whatever you want to do. Anyhow, we will see you all next Thursday. And forgot who was going to be here next Thursday, but we're going to have somebody next Thursday. So good night. See you then. And we will see you 8 o'clock, and hopefully we'll get Cindy Sheehan. What's going on, buddy?